Season 3, episode 4, another guest. You still here. You back. How you doing?
Man, I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling good, man. You go ahead and do stuff.
Man, my name's Adwoa. This is my boy. You know, 1K, no confusion. We're very blessed to be on here. You know, I love what's going on. And I appreciate, being able to share a little bit of myself with y'all. So.
Appreciate that. We got that man in the back. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
My name's Ryan. Friends with Adwoa and 1K. Up and coming entrepreneur. And happy to be on here.
Appreciate that. Happy that y'all came out, man. Y'all came, showed love, man. I appreciate that.
Y'all got a lot going on, you know what I'm saying? So, it shows there left and right, so, appreciate y'all taking the time to sit down with us, you know what I'm saying?
It ain't nothing but thank you for having me.
We get straight into it, you know what I'm saying? We know you in the music scene right now. How did you start with that?
Honestly, music been a part of my life for a minute. And my father, R.I.P. OG, he realized was one of the first people I seen that introduced me to music, you feel me? So I already started off, I wasn't singing, but I played a lot of instruments. So I went to this performing arts school, Thomas Fulton out of Marlboro.
Okay.
And I was playing the trumpet and trombone there. So I started with that. And I ain't started singing for real until seriously, probably I want to say high school.
High school?
Senior year. I got my first song. I was actually, did alright.
Okay.
And I was gonna go on rapping, more less singing. I feel like now I've been trying to redefine myself in my music and exactly what I want to produce.
So you started off with instruments, what made you want to take the making the music process is? So what made you was alright, I'm actually not about my stuff.
Honestly, I used to write a lot of poetry and listening to back then I listened to a lot of Lauryn Hill and stuff, and she was really one of the inspirations of my first song, Selfless. And you could see the way I was doing kind of the spoken word poetry thing going on. So that was pretty much where my influence came from. But when I made that transition from doing instruments to singing and rapping and things, I felt it was very fluid. Because as an instrumentalist, you already are familiar with music and beats and how things come together.
Right.
So it wasn't really a difficult switch, but it was nice to see the different energies and what I could and couldn't put together and those stuff.
So when you talked about your father, go back into that. Your father, was he a musician? What type of did he play trumpet instruments?
Yeah. My brother, not my brother. For real, he's my brother. That's my dog. But honestly, he played every instrument for real. But as far as from the African instrumental side, he played the Dodo. I'm about to mess up the name. But I'm sorry there, but he really played almost every instrument, and specifically the instrument that I really enjoyed him playing was the saxophone and the drums. Very talented drum master. And from a young age I used to join him on the drums, all of that, going to his shows and events. So it was always cool to see him be introduced and all that. And he really told me this music stuff, he's been trying to do it himself, but he really believed in me. So it's feel I'm not only doing this for myself, but at the end of the day, I'm already coming up with what we was already talking about.
Right.
So everything going according to plan.
That's amazing. So would you say music was always a plan, or was there's a time in high school you was I want to go and be this? Was music always a plan?
I used to want to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
Yeah, I love animals.
Yeah. But you're playing switch, what happened?
Man, that medical school wasn't
That's
talking to me.
It's really not fair. I don't think we really understand.
Bro,
That's a commitment.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta have a passion in it.
You do. I feel people don't really realize you want to be a doctor, they get money, but it's they gotta go through residencies, 3 years right there. You gotta go through 4 years of medical school. It's time you gotta put into
It's a grind,
money
bro.
you're not making yet. So it's you really gotta be dedicated. So shout out to all those doctors who got
especially during these times.
Yeah, during COVID, because they in the worst of it right now.
soldiers, man, I swear.
Keeping the world running for real.
Most definitely. So talking more about the switch, what made you alright, I want to be a veterinarian. What made you scrap that and be alright, now music is what's going on?
So honestly, there was this what do you call those things? School talent shows.
Okay.
So I did one. I can't remember exactly what year, if it was 11th grade or 12th grade, but I performed Selfless. And like, that was my first time performing in front of like, you know, like seriously.
Right.
But like obviously in middle school and stuff, I used to do like little talent shows as well. Like I used to do like 30-second raps and things. But when I performed Selfless and I was seeing like people coming to me and really telling me, like, this touched them and so, this made me feel like music was really like meant for me. And it was really cool to see, like, you know, when niggas come up to you and they're like, yo, I appreciate this verse or like this spoke to me. And they're like, music is a language at the end of the day, so I appreciate being a part of it and being able to bless others through my work. So like that was my main thing that had me. So after that talent show, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take this seriously.
Right.
For sure.
That's amazing. I feel like people don't really understand like that. The type of support you see, like, well, that's really just fuels and keep you going. What do you say kind of like fuels you now? Do you think it's more so the goal you want to get, the success you want to the success you want to achieve, or is it more so you just taking it day by day, trying to do it like that?
A little bit of both, but like obviously the main thing that be driving me is my father, and like second is really just my overall love for music. Like music's always on my mind. I'm always thinking about something that I can put or like create into something. And even when I'm listening to other people's music, like I'm thinking about, okay, cool, this sound, that sound. Like I feel like I was made for it, so I can't stop. Like even if I wanted to, you feel me? So like, yeah, it's just really the destiny for me. Like the journey is everything.
You've done a lot of shows, like you talk about the talent show. You've done a lot of shows so far. You know, your recent show, Explosion. Let's talk about that. You had your mom there. So talk about that experience.
That joint was crazy, bro.
Right.
Like, fool. So honestly, that was one of my mom's favorite songs. Like, I be holding songs. That song has been recorded since probably like summer. Yeah. So we decided to drop it after Explosion because we just wanted to test the waters. You feel me? So like, you know, when I got on stage and everything, like the vibes was really just on point. And like my mom come on stage, bro, that joint took me back, bro. Like that, it was crazy. Like I didn't plan that at all. Like she realized, just came up there, and it was just a beautiful moment. And I was just grateful to share with like, you know, people that actually appreciated my music. And it was like very good vibes, like honestly.
So do you think the turnout was better in terms of like Afrobeats? Like, do you think considering going the Afrobeats way, or singing like rapping and singing and a lot of stuff? Like,
that's a great question, man. Honestly, to be honest with you, I was like talking to Koby and everything. Like, yo, like I feel like when I do Afrobeats and produce it, it's like easier and it's more like smoother for me.
Yeah,
you feel me? So it's like I'm not fighting it. So like I'm not gonna give a straight answer as to like where I'm gonna go. But as far as like having love for like Afrobeats and like wanting to pursue that more, that's definitely the direction that like I'm leaning towards.
Yeah, I definitely listened to the track and I was like, oh, this is nice. So I definitely feel like, you know what I'm saying, like from a person that's looking outside in, like Afrobeats definitely would be the way to be. That's like with all the love Afrobeats is getting and people put on the map, like I definitely feel like that's the best way to go. But, you know, I got a question for Koby, you know, as a manager, like how does that, like setting her up for shows, like how does that go? You know what I'm saying? How do you play a part in that?
For real, like coming into it, like starting off with the manager of Adwoa, like to get back to like really just our relationship to begin with, like this is really like my cousin, like we grew up together like from the beginning, like our father, like she just talked about her dad, my dad and him, like they're really close, so it's like we kind of grew up together. Right. So just coming into it, like to take it back to house and like we just went to school together and really like I always knew Adwoa did music. And then like the type of thing in high school, I put up to things like, damn, my cousin did music. Like, check out my cousin's drummer. She got that shit. So like I was just doing that shit for a minute, and then freshman year we got into the jump, and she started doing. She was just hustling on her own, just trying to pursue music. Cause she was like, I fuck with school, but music is really what I want to do. And I seen that. So she was just going out her way to go to studios, like link up with different rappers. She got on a track with a woman as Zay Masked.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely because I think I already knew he was making music, but then I seen the track and I was like, because I didn't know who he was personally, but I seen like a snippet. I was like, nah, this one slide.
Like, and this is our freshman year, like, and mind you, like she already has like music in her blood, right? So it's like when she's doing shit like that, it's like, but this is really nothing.
Right.
But like when you see it like that, like from the outside looking at like the person, like on the manager aspect, it's like niggas fucking with it. Like everybody was coming up to me. We walking down campus, people singing the lyrics. And I'm like, nigga, I just be cool. I'm seeing, and I just pay attention to a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? So we just got into it, and then the pandemic hit for real. You know, it just came, and life kind of just changed. And fool, like, what happened? Like, I was in the Hobby Lobby at the time.
Yeah. I was shopping for smoothie. I had y'all right.
And then she really pulled up on me one day and was like, "Oh yeah, like let's go to my man Lade's crib and let's go rap like this type."
Shout out Bliss, man.
For real, like Bliss, man, shout out to him for sure. So we went there, we were just kicking it, and he was like, "Bro, like y'all always could like we be connected. Like everybody that knows us, like Adwoa and Koby, like."
Right.
We Adwoa and Koby, like y'all know what's going on. So it's like, he was like, but y'all always together, like get on some business shit, like, you know, special management. And for real, when he took it, when he said that to me, it was really like, something clicked.
It made sense.
It kind of made sense. Like, it was like, alright, bet. Like, I was already looking for a passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I already had a passion for music, like, type shit back in the day. So, it was really nothing. Just getting into it with managing, it was just trying to find my place and what she got going on. Because she's already a star, and I be telling her all the time, like, shit be kind of just falling. And it's like gradual, like, people just be hitting or reaching out. So for me, managing her is more like, you know, just really controlling all of that and just finding the right places to put her on the map. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're growing with each other and we're both college students. So it's like, I do a lot of stuff, but we take it to a whole nother level this year. Right.
That's well, for sure. So I definitely, like, we gonna talk more about the music for sure, but like, cause definitely, like you said, Mask is definitely one of my favorite joints. I don't know why, I definitely know the lyrics. Like, I'm ready to know. I know the lyrics, so like, that tell me another genre, I'll fuck with it on that. So, but even like, regardless of the music, like, more so focused, like, you mentioned your mom had the whole performance, like, talk more about family. How much does family mean to you? Because obviously, like, you've built yourself, you built a legacy for you, and you're showing yourself, and you're down for your dad is super proud of you. You know, looking down at you, super proud. So, like, tell me how important is family to you, and how does it feel to have a family supporting you that way?
Honestly, bro, like, family will be everything. And I recently just came from Ghana, so like, I haven't been back there in like 17 years since I left when I was like 3 years old, right? So like, seeing all my family and like getting reintroduced to them and all of that was just crazy for me because you realize see people one that look like you, act like you, and realize love you through whatever. And it's like, when I was even introducing myself like through the music and artistry and everything, it was like a big hug, like a warm hug, like especially being in your homeland, like it was really refreshing, bro. Like my family mean a lot to me, and like especially my mom, like she dropped like low key my best friend. Like we be, you know, getting into it sometimes, but like at the end of the day, bro, that's mom's like it's whatever for her. So it's like just always trying to be there for her as well as follow my dreams. And I'm just happy that even now, like, she's on board with like what I'm doing, and like she understands like this is really like what I'm going to do regardless of anything. So it's like I appreciate that. Like my brother and my sister, they always supported my music, all that. So it's like family's really, you know, it's that little cushion that everybody needs at the end of the day. And my right hand man, you know, that's family. So it's like I keep my family around me for real. Like it's nothing. So
that's what so I feel like you gotta keep those solid people around you because they always gonna be there from day one. So and you talked about like, you know, the whole thing about how when you're doing the whole thing, it's like your family, and you said your mom, she has accepted that this is what you're gonna do, but did she always accept it, or was it always like, 'cause I know African parents, they want you doctor, engineer, lawyer, there's nothing else you can do. So
that's not the same.
Yeah, I was
like telling your mom about that. So I'm in college.
Nah, don't get me wrong, I'm still in school, you know, I'm still enrolled, but like, as far as where I put most of my energy, like I had to have that conversation with my mom. And honestly, when I first dropped my first song, Selfless, like it was really like me coming home from the studio and showing my dad the music. So like my mom, she didn't know that I was really serious until like, you know, after he passed, and I was actually like going to the studio almost every day, real life coming with new recordings, and she was messing with it. And like it was just cool to see the way like she finally accepted it because she knew that I'm not gonna stop. And it's like, it's not like it wasn't touching her, and like she really was just proud of me at the end of the day. And like you can't take a mother's pride. Like she's really not gonna love you through whatever. But like, of course, I'm gonna get that degree. Mom, I'm gonna get the degree, you know, just for the long run. But like for sure, like music is everything to me. Like she knows and understands that as well.
For sure.
So yeah.
For sure.
What you get your degree in?
So right now I'm in mass communications with a focus on public relations, and then I got a minor in electric media and film. So pretty chill things.
Cool. So I know we definitely want to get into like talking about how you balance like music and school. But before we even get into that, when you're talking about how like you said your mom, that she was supporting you and she still finally seen what you're trying to do, like. Did it ever get hard? Was there ever a time where it's like she just she wasn't budging, where it's like, oh, it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen?
Yeah, for sure. So y'all already know, bro, most of the music scene happens at night. And y'all know how African parents get about the sun coming down and bad things happen.
Yeah.
So like, honestly, I just had to push the door a little bit. Like, there'll be times where I had to be at the studio, like, from a certain time to a certain time, and say she wanted me to be home. Like, I had to push the fan, because it's like, she has to understand, like, overall, this is all just like a part of my destiny. So it's like I can't succumb to, like, you know, not saying like what she has to say, but like if it's interfering with what I feel like I need to be doing, then I have to just go ahead and put my foot out there. So like, you know, obviously we would get into it, but over a while, bro, and I come and I show the production of what I'm doing, she understands like we're working. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sitting there just doing anything or like, you know, being crazy. Like, she's lucky I'm in the studio. Like, you know, a lot of things I'm in the studio, mom. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, that's really what I had to get her to understand. And like, as she seen me getting more serious with it, she's listening to music, she's vibing. She's just like, kill, like, all right, I'm gonna leave her alone. But don't get me wrong. Sometimes she be coming back, but like, you know, we always just, you know, come to an agreement at the end of the day. So it's
I think it's definitely like an important thing to not let fear of your parents overcome like your own destiny. Because you know, whatever God has for you is for you. So you can't let the fear of your parents like ruin that away, because they're always gonna be fearful. Like, this world is a crazy place to live in, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get why parents be fearful, but sometimes, you know, you gotta let your kid, like, if you parented them right, they're gonna do right. You just gotta trust yourself and trust your kids at the end of the day.
And especially if you have a vision, like, if you know that your kid has like a vision and shows that day in, day out, I mean, it should really just be a level of trust. And trust, the two of us, we locked in. Like, I tell her all the time, like, it's already written for us.
And not only do you have a vision, you have a talent too. So like, the talent's undeniable. So it's like, how can I not? I got this talent. How can I not share it? Or how can I not, you know, put it in the ground? I'm trying to put it in.
Yeah, the issue is just when like your parents don't see your vision though.
Yeah.
You know, so you could have a vision, but if your parents don't see it, but you gotta convince. You gotta try your best to convince them.
And then a lot of them like to see like tangible things.
Yeah, a product.
And at this point, you know, you see how, you know, explosion went. You feel me? Like, how can you do something like that and say I'm gonna stop?
It
can only be up there.
And that was my mom's first time seeing me perform.
What was the feedback that she gave? What she said?
Man, she was just so astonished, like, and she was just honestly just so proud. And she even told me like, wow, like, you don't stop, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, she was like, she never seen me like in that element. So it was really cool, bro. And like, overall, bro, I know that she knows that through it all, like, we all gonna be in this together.
Right.
So it's like, regardless if I'm doing something, at the end of the day, it's all for the film.
For sure.
So it's like, she just gotta let me keep rocking.
Yeah, I feel that. My only issue is if you like, when you're doing something, they don't want you to do it in the process, but when you show the finished product, now they're all happy. You know what I'm saying? But they don't know the process.
That's how it is.
That's how it is. They don't touch anything.
Like, that's how it is. That's how they grew up, bro.
Yeah, they grew up. I feel like parents, you have to understand they grew up a lot differently.
Yeah, they did.
It's kind of hard, but it's alright. At the time, but at the end of the day, if they used to how this shit should go, so it's like, alright, you know, this is how it should be. But it's like, nah, there's other ways they can go.
And it's also up to the kids too, because you have a lot of African kids who like are set in that environment and just get like pressed down.
Yeah.
And you just see them, you know, I can't. You get stagnant.
Yeah.
And, you know, you never really want that. You gotta push those boundaries. And once you do, I feel like you gain a level of respect.
Yeah.
And that goes with everybody. Like, when you push a door and you prove yourself, like, that shows respect. Like, you get that person's respect. Like, all right, you know, you said you would do it and you made it happen.
Yeah. And it's also not even like we're trying to push it down. I think some people get confused where it's like, all right, push it down as in like disrespect your parents. You're not even talking like, you're talking about like just respectful, and set boundaries as certainly as possible. Just let your mom know, like, this is what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gotta be, we're not trying to talk about no disrespect.
You gotta talk about setting boundaries. You talk about steps to set boundaries, because, you know, we might have like a lot of immigrants watching, a lot of people that want to do things like, what are your steps? What are your ways to
Okay,
you know,
that's a good question. So I mean, me personally, like me stepping into like really taking music seriously, the first thing was like, I made it clear to her, if I already have something set up for my music on that day, I can't put anything like on top of that. I can't put anything that's gonna disrupt the flow.
Okay.
And like she at first, like she would like call me and be like, oh wait, can you squeeze this in? And I'll probably do it for a little bit, but after that second time, like Mom, like you have to understand. So she started picking up, like, of course, like if she really needs you, go ahead and do what you gotta do. But like as far as having a schedule and something you want to stick to, as soon as they respect that, bro, it's alright for you. Like if I'm at the studio, no one's calling me, no one's texting me, whatever. Like, if they really want to get to me, they can get to me, no confusion. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling them I'm at the studio, and as soon as she see I'm at the studio, she don't call me when she's text me whatever, what's up. Like, you feel me?
So I assume there were times where you're at the studio, you had a show, so it's like, oh,
keep up! Call me the fuck out of here!
Even at the studio, it's just calls and calls.
If I'm not picking up, she's calling.
So as a man, how did you feel that situation?
No, I mean, that's why it's like, it's a lot of love, because like, we're family, you feel me? Like, we're family, so like, I love the fact that like, everything, like, even everybody that helps around is like family, so like, it's like really personal. So when her mom hits me, it's like, it's not no business. Like you said as a manager, but like that's really like, you feel me? That's my cousin. So I can be like, alright, auntie, like, you feel me? Like,
see, Kobe's he's the mind of it. I just be vibing. Like, I'm like, God, Kobe. Like, I'm not like, you feel me?
That's not doing all that. Makes sense. So talk more about like. I want to ask you before we even talk about school, like how, being a manager, how's that been? Because obviously you weren't, like before that idea, but obviously you weren't never had plans of being a manager. So how did you jump into that space? How did you try to, like, obviously as a manager you have to talk to these different artists, you have to talk to all these venues, and like that's not easy, you know what I'm saying? So how do you try to navigate that? How do you try to, was it ever a challenge, and how did you try to approach it?
Like definitely, I mean, like to begin with, like coming up, like as a kid, like through high school, I had like been in some management role, like I was a basketball team manager, you know, like little stuff like that. And I would just pick up on it, like not thinking like, you feel me, like I had something about management. It was like fun, like you know, out of a passion. And the thing about me, I really just do stuff that I'm like really passionate about. Like if I can see a future in it, and it's like my heart is in it, like I'm gonna go 100%
for sure.
For me, so like just going through the motions and just like I said before, like it just clicked when she was like, oh man, and Adwoa over there, I bet like. You feel me? It makes sense. So just being a student on top of that, like, I mean, we're all into technology, so I'm an IT major, like, you just gotta go hard, like, with the management, like, you just gotta go hard in your own lane and make sure, like, in that lane, you're still helping, you know, your artist at the same time. Right. Because it's a gradual thing, like, real managers be like, you feel me, like 56 and trying to go back and get a 14-year-old artist. You gotta progress as an artist, and, you know, like you said, like, it do get tough, because, like, you can probably see, like, in any state, you see what other people can do, and you're like, damn, like, feel me? If I had this, I could do that. Yeah. But it's like, it's just all about building it up and just trusting your process. Right. And like I said, I just go hard, like, in everything that I do, so I know the results come through.
So I like the fact that we're, like, also, you know, shining light on the management part of things. I feel like a lot of people don't really touch on that. You know, we focus on the artist, but we don't focus on the manager behind the artist. You know what I'm saying? Because the managers puts the artists in different spots. You know what I'm saying? Even with our last episode, if the viewers watched it, with Simi and Giles, like Giles is also the mind. You see here, Kobe's also the mind. So it's definitely a pattern. I'm glad that we're shining light on that.
Yeah, because like, bro, Kobe, bro, like, I asked him everything, like, before I did anything. I don't even know, like, it don't even matter, bro, like, regardless of, like, you know, booking the shows and everything, like, with my mentor, bro, that's my best friend, so it's like, even though, like, we're always on the music thing, it's always good to have, like, that checkup, that's someone that you could real life talk to about whatever, and, like, you know what I'm saying, like, that helps the music through and through, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's the best, I feel like, because obviously you have managers, but for that to be someone in your family, I feel like, you got that support system, but for that person in your family, there's certain things that person can understand that, or I mean, other person can't. So I feel like it's definitely a blessing. I feel like that's another reason why you're seeing the success. Because like, it's all genuine vibes. And I think one thing we try to focus on here is trying to be authentic. So like, one of my questions is like, how important is being authentic as an artist and as a manager? Because in these spaces where it's like, you want to progress as an artist, you want to work with this person, you want to work with this person. Like, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes people are going to tell you no, sometimes people are just not going to work out that way. So how is it important is it to be authentic so that you can still try to get that success that you want to get?
You want to answer for it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, from an artist standpoint, like one thing I always tell myself, I never want to lose myself inside of my music. I always want my music to be an example of me and what I'm going through and like what I represent. Right. So it's like I can't. As soon as I feel myself drifting away from that, it's probably not going to be for like the right reasons anymore. Like you feel me? And I feel like when especially like people come into the music scene, they're probably trying to like mimic a certain thing, but they're not really trying to go inside themselves and see like, okay, who am I? What am I trying to represent and be? Like you feel me? Like they just on some other stuff. But like me personally, through like even from 2019 and now, like just find myself not only as a person that's helping my music. Like you feel me? So it's like I'm just trying to stick to like, you know, respecting myself at the end of the day before anything. Like,
I just say add on to that, like this, you know, just always remember like why, like you're doing it. Like I keep on saying, like you just gotta just stay passionate about what you're doing. Because once you start, you know, on the management side, it's like a lot of like money, and it's like you know, people look at artists like a way to get money. You know what I mean? Like that's why you see, you know, record labels trying to get people so they can tie them like 360 deals. It's all about money at the end of the day, and that's in any business. So just remember like why you're doing it, and like for me, just being my cousin, like nothing's about money. Like we go out there and we just put our hearts into it. Everything else flows after that.
And that's why the results are showing. Like people, I think, like we highlight this on probably like every podcast. We talk about how when it's real, you can feel, you know, what I'm saying, you can feel like you can understand
your intentions.
Exactly.
Like every time I talk to somebody, or I feel like just bringing up pure intentions, just being pure with it, just being intentional with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like being intentional is like my theme of this year in general. Just being intentional with what you're doing, just going out your way. You know what I'm saying? Finding yourself, but you know, talk about finding yourself in the music. Like how has finding yourself helped your music?
Yeah. So I can't say like obviously after like my father passed and everything, music was really like an outlet for me. So it's like initially I was doing, if you don't tell, like I was doing a lot of pain music, like you feel me, like even heartbreak, all of that.
Yeah.
But like I want to say like closer to 2020 and things, like I was starting to like have new friendships, like shout out Baba Black, Dan Steve, Vic, all them, Aaron. They realized like they don't even know, but like through that period of my life, bruh, that was like my safe haven going to the courtyard. It's like this building for real. And just going to go like 3 floors, bruh. I used to sleep there.
Like it was like waking up in the studio. Right. I'm glad you and brother know too. Like shout out to them. Like, they really helped our progression in like in this space. So I really did want to take some time to say something about them on here. Without them, like they really accelerated us and really helped me even as a manager see like they like my older mentor, like you know we juniors, so like I was just seeing them on what they do and the dedication to what they do. You feel me? And when you surround yourself around like people like that, it's like damn, like I gotta go hard. You feel me? So like, definitely.
It's really they definitely investing in their own craft. I picked that up from even seeing it myself.
Yeah, bro. Mine was right there with us. Like it was crazy because like you know obviously. In my head, I have a lot of things going on, but as soon as I walk through the doors and just chilling with the boys making music, like you feel me, like I just feel alright. So it's like even through time progressed, I find that peace like in myself. I'm still trying now, like I don't got everything figured out, but it's like I can't lie and say music hasn't been a big help in that for me. So I feel like for anyone when they try to find themselves, really tap into like really what your passion is. Even if you're an artist. You may have another passion, like, who knows, you may be drawing, you know, whatever, like, you got going on. But just do that and it'll really help you, like, find more about yourself. And that's what music did for me.
Yeah, that's I fuck with the fact that, you know, you help to find yourself and you're able to, you know, dedicate time and explain ways, like, how do those people help? Like, what they do, you know what I'm saying?
Well, first of all, Baba, you know, Yomi, whatever y'all call him, I call him Baba, though, but, like, he realized, like, at first, Koby, like, our main thing was really finding a consistent producer, like, you feel me? And it's like, the first day, I went to Bob's crib in Laurel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did this one song, and in real life was like the connection was just, it was just 1-2. You feel me? Like we didn't really like step on each other's toes. If one person's doing this, like, oh yeah, add this or whatever, like, go sing this. Very fluid. So it was like, I told Koby about him because I wanted to go during, like, I don't know exactly the month, but when they moved into here, like, we finally decided to, like, let's actually set up an actual studio session. And that, it was beautiful, right? Like, they really helped me grow inside of my own, like, me as an artist. Like, you feel me? And Baba does a lot of different, y'all haven't heard half of the stuff me and Baba got, right? Like, Baba Rilla makes a lot of different beats, so it's like, it challenges me, like, every time going in there. And I feel like if I were to, like, like, there's always the producers, that's probably like just trying to get a quick buck or something, or maybe like this. But we would really sit there like, nah, like this beat, we'll look like 10 beats freestyle, nah, this is the one, like, you feel me?
Yeah.
So, like, someone you can actually put work with and like actually spend time, that's what you need, bro. And, like, that's really what he gave me. And like Vic, man, that's really my boy, bro. He shot my first music video all the way, like, it was in here, in courtyards, like. It was real like
we walked in, didn't even know like they lived together. Like, it was like so it was like a creative like space. Like one room is a producer, another room is a videographer, and we just all in there just mixing it together, just just grinding. And it was like a bubble. Like, it was like a bubble of like creativity. So it's just all like obviously everything changes. So it's like we couldn't be there forever, of course. But it's like when we saw that, it's like dang, we saw what we could do. Like if we had those resources, at our
surround yourself with the right people, bro.
We started to know like exactly what to look for, and like Vic, he's just always been there for real. Like ever since I met him, he's just been genuine, energy for real. And like I'm just grateful, honestly. Like I tell them every day, but like they really changed my life in aspects of like not even music, but just like through friendship and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's also important. Because obviously business is important at the end of the day, but when you actually in business with someone that you actually been able to create a friendship with, it's just all, it's all together. Like, you feel me? So like, I really appreciate that. And like, everybody who was with me in courtyards, bro, I love all y'all. There was too many people.
It was crazy, and then that was the spot for real.
That's amazing. Like the fact that we have it's just like, it's just an apartment, but nobody ever know, like, nobody ever knew that where it's at, but it's like, it's what I imagine going on in that room, so like, it's definitely amazing to see that happen. So like, talk more about like how important it is to be in the right mindset when it comes to making music. Like, you mentioned earlier about how, like, if you're not in the right spot, when you tell them, okay, I'm in the studio, don't call me, that type of thing. So how important is it to be like completely locked in? How important is the vibes? How important is all that kind of things when you're trying to make music?
That's a great question. So like, in the studio, honestly, I don't take too many people. Like, most of the time, just me and Koby, or me and my boy Prada, shout out J Prada. And like, literally, like, me, the other person I'm making a song with, Koby, and like, probably someone up there, man, it's like, you feel me? But like, I always feel like if I'm in the studio, throughout the day, I have to be, like, determined mood. Like, even sometimes I tell Koby, bro, I'm not even feeling the studio, like, right now, you feel me? Like, you have to listen to yourself, because obviously, as an artist, you want to make music every day.
Yeah.
But you can't always do that, like, if you're not in the right headspace. And like, even before, like, I used to just rush into it. Like, we used to waste money studio time, and I would probably do like one song, because like, I wasn't really straight up with it. But like, even, I decided, like, I used to go in there and freestyle a whole bunch, like, you feel me? And don't get me wrong, some of the freestyles were like A1. When it comes to actually creating a masterpiece and something that you really want to push through, then like I learned like I need to go back to my writing bag. And like most of the songs on my EP, Where to Go, like I wrote most of those on my EP, Nothing is Something. I wrote most of those.
Okay.
I went on. So it was like that's really what it had me like learning. And like my mindset really, overall, bro, your mindset controls everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So like,
the mind would matter always.
Feel me? In anything you're doing. So like me, I always constantly tell myself, remind myself, like, it's the marathon for me. Like, you feel me? Like, I can't expect myself to always be on point every day, but I'm not gonna allow myself to drop from where I'm already at. You feel me? You can't go lower from where you're at, but you always gotta reach higher. Like, I always try to mentally check myself every day. So that's how I would force myself into situations where I'm not prepared for. music, relation, whatever, like, you feel me? That's anything in life, so, yeah.
It's interesting to hear you talk about how you can freestyle, yeah, and it can sound good, but like writing is a different type of vibe. Can you talk more about it? Because I feel like a lot of people, they hear rappers, well, yeah, I ain't writing nothing, I just freestyle that. It's like the fact, you know, so yeah, no writing nothing. I'm saying, like, well, yeah, off the dome type of thing. So, like, how important is writing to you? How do you try to approach writing? How is it different when it comes to like freestyling? Like, what do you think is the main reason why you think that writing can be like a different type of vibe?
I bet. So like off the jump, like you asked Koby, I'm always gonna freestyle to a beat before I start writing. Like,
and I'm be sliding. Like it do. It's like I should be sometimes like, oh, like last year I'm not gonna lie, real story. They had like 100 just audio recording on my phone. Everybody like, oh, record that jump. They're like, oh, you gonna record it? Nah, next beat. Like, come on.
Oh, like freestyle just be fun for me, but like when I really feel the beat that I wanna create to, like I actually want to not only know exactly what I'm saying in my lyrics, but feel it a little more. Like when you freestyle is quick, like you feel me? Like when you go on like the radio shows, like or like spit a quick bar for me. Yeah. You just it's off the air. Yeah. You feel me? But like when you actually go back home, you're listening to the beat, you're feeling it, and you actually know exactly what you want to talk about. But I will always freestyle over a beat anytime, just to even feel if I'm feeling it. Right. But like regardless, when I'm trying to write something to it, I do listen to it multiple times. Like, and it usually come out like
you like writing better or freestyling better?
I can't pick, man.
I thought freestyle probably more fun, right? But writing is
like writing is like it's more challenging.
Yeah.
Very much much more challenging, like for sure.
You ever did a freestyle like one take or you had like how many songs?
Man, other songs, bro. Like I'm holding out for real, but yeah, they used to joke around one take Adwoa.
Okay, that's
man, over a while, like the one takes are very good, but then you also have to understand like you are building off of something. So like I can go in the studio just freestyle 10 songs. Yeah. But what am I gonna do with those songs? So you feel me? Like I have to actually understand like exactly what I'm trying to portray and like have out at the time.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about like the fact, you know, as you say you like a lot of songs or not. When can we expect like a project, album or project?
Wait.
When can we expect?
Hey, keep screaming although.
Yeah.
So like talk more about that. I feel like especially as a listener to music, we always hear artists talking about, oh yeah, I ain't gonna drop that yet, or I got all these songs in the vault, I'm just not gonna drop it. Talk about how isn't like how do you try to figure out I'm about to drop this? How do you figure out what's on the album? How do you figure out what's on the EP? How do you figure out because all the songs you're making? How do you try to get in that space where you can like, all right, now this is exactly what I want to do for this one? How do you try to navigate that?
Honestly, bro, like Koby will tell you, like I would have 10 songs and I'll be like, alright, boom, like honestly we could throw these away because they don't really like it's not what I'm trying to produce right now. Okay. So like it's been like since we literally had a studio here, we made endless songs. Like you feel me? Okay. But like at the end of the day, the songs that we made that we were able to drop, it's not like they're not the same, you know what I'm saying? Like at the same level. So it's like now that I'm going into music, like we're talking about this year specifically, like as you said, intentional. Like I want to be intentional with almost everything that I create in the studio. So it's like now I'm actually taking time to receive beats, process the beats, like write to it and all of that. Have even like writing sessions, just go and just listen to beats. Like you feel me? Things like that and not rush into it. So like when I say like I have things in the vault, it's probably things that are good, but it's like at this time in this moment, like I'm trying to be intentional with everything. Okay. So I have to match the flow and everything I already have.
So what type of?
Let me tell you, I really want to add on to the fact
that
really from the fact that like since I started managing Adwoa, like all of the drops that we did, like I think that the first one that we did, we deconstructed the old nothing and something we dropped a new one, but everything that we did has just been right timing. Like it's been perfect timing. Like you feel me? Like there be a lot of songs that are recorded, but then it'd be certain songs like just to speak more recently, like although it was made in the summer. Right. We was rocking out with that jump, but it just wasn't the right timing. But like when Explosion came, it was like alright, it clicked. Like it was like alright, say less, and you know everything flowed. We got it right, and you know everything's still rocking right now. So it's like just going in and just knowing when the right timing is too, and just being intentional about everything. Cause, you know, as an artist, like you know, you can push out like a mixtape a week.
Yeah.
You can really do that.
It's hard to do
You
that
can
too.
really do that, but it's like where do you want to go with your music? What do you want your music to speak for? Like when you look back in 5 years, like what do you want this to tell? Like it's a lifeline. So it's like.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting to hear that because I feel like Roddy said recently, he said like he tried not to drive music for like 3 years because he has to live life and experience things like. And also he dropped the album. I personally kind of like the album.
It was cool.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't bad. You know
Hey.
what I'm saying? I feel like I like songs.
It was Roddy.
Yeah. It was. You know what I'm saying? It was Roddy, but I feel like people were like, oh no, they expected this to him. So like, how is it hard sometimes to where it's like you holding in on the music and it's like. You don't know how it's going to connect. You don't know how this is going to connect. How does that whole process happen? So, okay, I know I dropped this, or I waited all this time. Should I have been dropped?
I want to say something to that is like that's one thing about Adwoa. Like she's an amazing performance artist. So it's like when you can go out there and see people react to you, really, that's when you really know. Like I try to like these numbers, everything, those cool, but when you can see the people who really rock out with you, it's like it's a whole different level.
For sure.
So when you go out there and although she performed that jump in the summer. Unreleased, and it's like people is rocking out there. So it's like you know you got something like that. So like I feel like that's a part of it too, for sure.
When dropping music, is there a time where you feel anxious? Like you feel nervous? Like are they gonna receive the music well? Are they gonna like what you're putting out?
I mean, honestly, sometimes yes, but like you said, most of our jobs been perfect timing, and we also like to set up like some anticipation. So like if you've seen like where to go. We drop like a snippet and then we'll drop like the track list, things like that, just to have people know that, you know, something is coming. So it's like, that kind of lessens my anxiety to see like how that performs. Like those little drops. So yeah, for sure.
So when it comes to like the rollout, when it comes to songs, like is that usually you handling it more so, or is that another team? How do you go?
Like I come with a lot of ideas because I mean the type of person I am in general is like I really like to pay attention to detail.
Right.
Like I really like to pay attention to
important.
detail and like just do everything at the highest level. Just try to do everything at the highest level you can do it to. So it's like I just come with ideas and like even more recently like I'm reading on like I think I'm on like United Masters and they're like like on Fridays there's like 50 times more albums dropped that day. So I'm like, I bet but I'm getting free game, but honestly, you know, that's what it's all about. But it's like with I'm like, nah, like let's drop this on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? Just to see how like the statistics would align with and it's a way different thing because you have a less market right there. You feel me? So it's just little stuff like that when you come into, you know, just rolling stuff out. Cause you just like, I mean, I'm a competitive person. You always want to have a one up.
Of course,
one up on the next person. So, I mean, that's really what it's all about.
That's all. I think it's amazing always because when it comes to you see the artists and you see like their career, but they don't really realize what little things have to happen in order for that to happen. The album rollout. The reason why he sold 200K is he had to go album rollout type of thing. So people don't really understand like that those different type of things. So it's really good that you're having that attention to detail. Because I feel like it's not easy to have attention to detail. I'm one type of person. If it was good, I'm alright. That's good. I'm trying to break out of that. I'm trying to be like, alright, no more. I'm about to butcher the word mediocrity.
Mediocrity.
We're podcasters. We gotta say words, bro.
Mediocrity.
Yeah, right. So I'm trying to say that, but I know be intentional. Like you said, everything gotta be 100% excellent. We gotta don't have it as nothing. So it's kind of like wow, you really have to like be in it. Like you have to be in it.
And it's like I mean like one of the people that I really like look up to like Nipsey Hussle. Honestly, like I mean, never said I was a crazy fan when he died. Like going back into interviews and just taking free game from people. He was
giving game.
The thing that he said is like you know like you gotta be comfortable feeling uncomfortable. Like you feel me? Like the feeling of being uncomfortable is just a continuing thing because like you want better for yourself. So it's like you gotta find a comfortable situation, just keep it pushing in it. And it's like once you find the lane, I be telling Adwoa like once you find the lane, like the sky's the limit. Like with just to go back to the fans, like Adwoa like I said, she's a star. Like I can tell you, like they're real dedicated fans of Adwoa. Like they like her music, everything she dropped, they're streaming.
Does that ever get crazy to you?
It doesn't get crazy. It's like it's not crazy because like we grew up here. Like her dad had the same energy. Like when he walked into a room, like it was like you know, like everybody knew him. Like you know, like that was just the energy that it was always there. Like seeing Adwoa grow up, like you know, like obviously we went go through our awkward stages. You know what I mean? And then we like that's all of it. But then when you see the personality come out, it's like Adwoa went viral on Twitter for just. He went viral on She had that personality already, but like.
Pull up in there like people. I got my jealous of people. Yeah, the fantasy demons, these niggas ain't got no work, don't believe her. Pull up, say this is every season. 100 piece I really see them. Rappers ship it to your time if you need them. I got a bad bitch, you can see it. Told her pull up cause that pussy I need it. Swear that shit so like a full season. Tell me my brothers like, hey, we need you. Hey, Shabazz, nigga. PPG gang, PPG gang, PPG gang, PPG gang, PPG gang.
Like just to drive on my factor, like, she already had this star personality. Like, people want to hear that stuff, so I just seen it. Yeah. But yeah, that's embarrassing. But it's It was a
little remix.
It was a remix, but it's alright. You know,
hey, Roger and where you are here today.
Nah, people was messing with it at the time though. Like they were rocking with it.
Was it something that was you were younger? That's why it was a little bit embarrassing, or just because it was like
it was just young, like you know, this on some hard
shit. It's an opera trap remix.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. If you see, if you have it, then thank God. But that's literally it.
So it sounds like the music. Like, who could we expect? Like, who are people that you want to work with?
Oh, that's a good one. Definitely shout out our girl Cindy out there. You guys just had it out there. Definitely got some more music out. There's also Joyce Sumru. She's very tough.
Yeah, that faded track was very nice.
Really?
Yeah, that was nice.
But yeah, I'm open right now to find more creatives to work with because I feel like at the end of the day it's all about connection. So if I'm really connecting with a certain artist as far as their music, I want to be able to just go to the studio and just vibe out. I want to do things like that. So those are my top two right now. So for sure.
That's solid. Is it does it ever get alright, Ben, now I'm trying to figure out who you want to work with. Do you more so try to look the music? Do you focus on the music, or I want to work with this person because I like the music, or is it more so the type of vibe? Because I feel like not everybody can work with everybody. You know what I'm saying? So how do you try to identify who you want to get on the track with?
That's a great question. So alright, so first for me, obviously, if I like your music, I have to like your music.
Right.
But also I have to I want to be able to have a conversation with you and know exactly what you're in the music for. You feel me? Because it's you can try to create with someone whose heart isn't even in the right place for you, and you can feel that. You feel me? And who knows? Y'all may make a good track or whatever, but it may not go nowhere just because off the energy and the inconsistency and things like that. So with I guess with Simi, we literally found each other through music, and it was we didn't even get in the studio until probably a year after knowing each other. Because we was just, you know what I'm saying, just being cool with each other. I'd come to some of her events and things like that, but we don't have a song out, you feel me? But it's just we're just showing love.
It's genuine love.
You feel me? So it's that's very important to me. And honestly, the songs that we have in my features are honestly just my friends who make music. Shout out 15K, shout out Kia, shout out J Prada. Shout out Damn Risky, everybody.
Everybody.
If I'm Risky, I love you, but it's honestly, a lot of the people I keep around me, are on the creative side, so it's it's easy for me to be able to really trust what they're producing and knowing that it's coming from the right place because we're all, trying to do it the same way, you feel me? So
was there a person where you saw you liked their music, you had a conversation with them, but you was intention on the right place? Is that happens?
You gotta say the name, bro.
You gotta say the name. We not name dropping on this, bro.
For sure.
How are you able to
all
say
the
that?
time, bro. I mean, man, the young type game, everybody's trying to do music, but it's if I'm listening to your music and personally, I feel it's, I don't know, I feel it's kind of frustrating in terms of I know who you are. This is I don't want to be aligned with that. Because I told you before, authenticity.
It's hard.
Everything.
It's hard.
But so that's everything to me. So it's initially when I go into things, I just do my research. Literally, I look into their music exactly you know, who they messing with, like things like that. You can't go into this thing blind, like at all. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, that's all important.
You got a favorite song that you got in the vault right now?
Like one of those, like when this come out, like it's gonna be crazy type of thing. You ain't got some new ones, but just like.
That's a good one.
It's too many right now.
It's too many.
Yeah.
But.
You got top 5?
Okay.
Top 5?
Top 5. Okay, cool.
I mean, it's top 5, but they unreleased.
Top 5 unreleased, so it's like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
But not trust this. There's some songs.
You can play it right now. You can play one song right now with mine, man. We're gonna get CurbTalks first. CurbTalks exclusive.
Yeah, second interview for sure.
Second interview for sure. Alright, we're
So talk more about like when it comes to like your music. Talk about your style. Talk about like what influenced you, what made you want to go in that direction. Because obviously, like I feel like your style is like, and I'm not trying to describe your style, but like obviously like with your voice, everything, you have a very unique voice when it comes to that. So like you can rap, sing, all that type of thing. So what inspired you? Like what is your main influence when it comes to your style, and how do you try to figure out what lane you want to be in?
Man, so initially I came into it rapping because like, man, y'all already know growing up in PG, lunch table is where you was rapping at. That was me, I was that kid, like literally on the pencil rapping, freestyling. So it's like I grew up with rap majority of the time.
Right.
So like, as I said before, like Lauryn Hill, it was a period of my time when I was really just listening to the miseducation of Lauryn Hill over and over and over.
Great project, yeah.
And like she's one of the artists that also was able to merge rapping and singing. Like,
I think she did.
if you
not many people can do it like her. Yeah.
Her rapping
She
is
be rapping.
crazy. Like you feel me, storytelling, lyricism, all of that. So it was like I really like I would say that's an influencer like for me, would definitely have to be her. And when I made that transition to like, you know, doing more of the what do you call it? Like the pain, rap and things like that. I feel like I didn't really have an inspiration, but it was kind of like where I was in my life, it was easier for me to talk about those things.
Right.
Like you feel me? So it's like it came really fluid. Like what was the song? Through the Storm.
Through the Storm was a
like,
one take.
That was a one take song.
And that's on long.
Like it was really just like what I was going through and things. So there wasn't anyone specific that I was listening to like R&B, like what I was saying. But like the beats was there and I was able to record. So it's like really what I was going through. But as far as like the Afro beats and things like that, I've always had that, as Koby said, like that's a part of me. Like my dad was an Afrobeat artist, you feel me? So it's like it was easy for me to like step into that lane because I've always been around African music, like, literally. So it was like I want to say I made my first African song or like Afrobeat song with Bala actually. I think it's like called Paradise or something. Yeah, and it was a real vibe. Like, and I wasn't taking Afrobeat seriously at the time. But since adult, like in Ghana, I recorded a song out there, and like I'm starting to actually like the process I have with creating Afrobeat music. So it's like it comes to that said like really fluid and natural to me. So like, you know, I'm really vibing.
I kind of want to have you expand on making the Afrobeats in Ghana. Like, you know, how is it making African music in the homeland? Like, how is that? Talk about that instead of like making it in America. Like.
So like. Honestly, so my uncle, he had a studio like in his backyard basically. Okay. And it was really nice to be able to like wake up and say, alright, I'm not going to, you know, record. And that's what a lot of artists love. Like, you know how some artists they have they set up right next to their bed, things like that. Like that just motivates you. Like so being in like Africa in itself, like the heat, the feel of the atmosphere, everything. It was all just an inspiration, like not even to be off that cliche stuff, but it was like, for me not being there in a long time, I was just taking everything in. So it was like, my uncle had this one producer, Jerry, used to come in, and like, I recorded on my boy, shout out Big Raw, he realized sent me this one beat,
Big Raw.
And that joint was cranking, so I did that song, and I was really just like, it was a vibe, like you feel me? I didn't feel like I was uncomfortable at any time. Like, it was hot as hell, but like, I liked it. Like, you feel me? Like, I feel like I was working for something, and it was like, a different environment always helps. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people record in the same spot for a long time, but you may go to this one studio and like, dang, you make the best song you ever made, like, you feel me? And maybe change the environment. So like for me, I definitely see myself going back to Ghana like more frequently and actually trying to like, you know, get in more musical spaces. Like, so like, you know, just get a new vibe and everything. So
I'm waiting to hear that song. When y'all release it, I'll probably do it.
Say less, bro.
So talk more about like, you know, going back to Ghana, because I think that's something that a lot of people do. I feel like this past when everybody's in Nigeria, like where like,
bro, I think
everybody's in Nigeria, everybody's there, so it's like, but it's amazing to see people going back home. You know, like because I can say myself like, because I was born in Africa too. I came here when I was 2. My first time back was 2016. So like it was a long time since I had been back. But just seeing all that and seeing how like Africa is, and just cause when I was younger, I didn't know what none of it was. So kind of like I'm seeing it now, it's kind of like you see how beautiful Africa can really be. It's not like how it's depicted in popular fiction, things like that. So it's like talk more about like how important do you think it is to try to go back and try to understand exactly where your roots come from.
That's great. Like just if I wasn't born there, I was set there and then I came back. But I mean, honestly, bro, like
what you do?
I was a kid. I was like 1 year old. Like, I didn't send the babies. Man, this nigga got muscle.
You trouble with something. Now you know the stories. The bad kids get sent back, come back old.
For sure. But yeah. So honestly, I feel like it all comes back to finding yourself and like actually trying to know what you want to represent. And like for me, like knowing that I started up on African music, like my first ever instrument was the bugle, and it's like it's a trumpet family, but it doesn't have any keys. It's literally like the joints when they be like for the war, and you know how they just have the one joint, it's just one rap, and that's what I used to play. Like literally just make different rhythms off of it. My dad would play the drums, so like I always like had the African, like, you know, I'm African, like you feel me? So it's like it's not too far from myself. So like when people talk about going back to the homeland and they were able to actually like make some of the best music, I feel like it all goes back to like staying in touch with like where you came from. And that's very important because then it's easier for you to talk in your music because you know exactly who you are and the things you wouldn't say and the things you would say because you've been able to find yourself. Like, you feel me? So I don't know, bro. Like going to Ghana, like even aside from the music, I loved it because I was able to like just meet my family, and that's important. Like my mom, man, it was a minute before she went to Ghana. She hadn't seen her brothers since she left. I'm like, just think about that. Like you see your family almost every day, like your immediate family. Most of our parents being immigrants, it takes them a long time to be able to go back home and actually like that reconnect with their family. So I really appreciated that moment. You know, it was like seeing my cousins, my uncles, like aunties, grandpas, like you feel me? It was just like really like, I don't know the word, but like I really appreciated it. And like I'm grateful, and I feel like if anyone has the opportunity, they should go just to like get a different perspective of life and like of the things around you that you've never experienced. Like you feel me? So yeah, for sure.
What can we expect from you in the future?
In the future, definitely I want to do a whole bunch of more shows. Hit, you know, 1K on the DM, like DM, whatever, if y'all trying to get me. And also I want to do a lot more visuals. Like if you have any concepts as far as photoshops, music video, visualizers, anything, like I'm open to all of that as well.
Okay, and one last question before we close out. Who are, you know, I believe you answer, one thing you can answer too. Who's one person each that y'all would like to see on CurbTalks?
That's a good one. I want to see my boy 15K.
15K?
Or Dan Risky.
Dan Risky, okay.
I was gonna say Risky, but I mean, I say go get on that Big Raw for real, One of the hottest producers coming out of the day.
Maryland's hidden gem. That's all.
And Baba Black. That boy don't like to talk.
No, definitely appreciate y'all coming through. One last question I have before we start. Favorite song that you have?
Favorite song I have?
Yeah, favorite song right now,
Okay. Alright, man. It has to be Adwoa and Lover.
You have a favorite song too?
I say something off the Nothing to Something tape. That does a different type of bag. Like it was different, so I say that.
Honorable mention.
Alright. We gone. Thanks for coming
Yes,
through with us.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate
Very
y'all,
nice.
man. Appreciate
Yes,
y'all.
Yes, sir. We out.
All right,
Good, good.
Yeah, for sure, bro. That was a good one, bro.